and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Festivus Friday edition of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, how you doing, good buddy?
Happy Festivus, Crudy. It is always a pleasure. You know, I always love coming to work. But today I really love coming to work.
Buddy, kind of feel twice blessed today.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I know I promise you big shows each and every day, folks, but this is going to be an exceptionally big show.
Bigger than regular, bigger than normal.
Really, really big.
Oh,
now with extra bigness.
Everybody's going to be so very proud.
Dom, first and foremost, guilty.
What?
Michael Flynn, guilty. The beginning of the end. And it's going to be a quick trip from here, I think, folks. Guilty, Michael Flynn. We're going to start the day there, but let's point out we got to find former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
What'd you do now, Crudy? Oh, wait. Oh, he's going to be a guest.
He's going to, let's say, do a little prosecutorial speculation.
Oh, excellent.
Along with the Devil's Advocates, someone who has, put the screws to someone in the past. We'll speculate about what Mueller might be thinking comes next. And Dom, also, man, I am so excited about this news. We've been pointing you towards this day in history as a huge day for WRRD 1510 AM Resistance Radio. But that's a 3 o'clock hour thing.
Oh, you're still teasing
about it.
Oh, so everyone, please stay tuned.
Boy, this looks like very big stuff.
It is exceptionally big stuff. And also, we got the little misses, and I don't mean mine, I mean yours. It is Festivus on Brady Street this weekend, Dominic, and your beautiful wife is the Brady Street bid director.
Yeah, Steph's going to join us in studio at the 4 o'clock happy hour, give everyone the details of what is going on, what is Festivus, and how does Brady Street uniquely celebrate this fine institution of a holiday.
And buddy, I've
non-holiday.
already acquired some Festivus swag.
You wear it well, man.
Oh my God, this is super cool. I got a Festivus Brady Street 414 Wisconsin scarf.
And you see the Festivus pole on there? See how nice
Oh,
that
is that a pole?
That's what that is. That's the Festivus pole.
It looks almost phallic there somehow.
Well, poles tend to do that.
But look at this. 414 Wisconsin. It's like our show, the WRD morning show.
Plan like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, but you guys need some of these sporty Festivus scarves. Got to know somebody. And also, big news earlier today on this fine radio station, Daryl Ingram has joined the family here. Kind of had to beat him in. You know how it goes, like joining the gang.
Coming in for the 414 Wisconsin 9 to 11. Awesome to have this guy in studio. He's fun. He's witty.
He's smart.
And apparently he's more than just a pretty face, huh, Crudy? I heard you talking about me, man.
Yes.
I am more than just a piece of meat, man.
Barely. Now you're a piece of meat and a beard.
Yeah, Daryl Ingram, welcome to the family, my friend.
Daryl, former Packer, Daryl Ingram, has joined the morning co-hosted tandem with our Fancy Brian in there.
Hey, it's me.
And you guys have been doing this for a little while, but Daryl is joining us really as he completes his second master's degree. We hope we can keep him around post-graduation.
Maybe he'll make us a little bit smarter.
But
He's
he's
fantastic. He's just great to talk to. The time flies by, and it's great. I love having him. You guys will love hearing him. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy having him with you.
Well, I hope Daryl's like I was in college, 6-7 year plan.
Yeah.
I'll get him through college. It's like a college job for Daryl.
Dr. Crute.
Nearly. I'm so close. So close. I have 118 of the required 118 and a half credits for graduation.
See, state school. How you how'd you slide through, Crudy?
The half credit deficiency, Fayed.
Well, physical.
And we were at a Fayed college. Yes.
Yes.
I can
come
on,
see.
man. You know, Charlie Gross, I audited his basketball class. If I'd have thought more thoughtfully about it, I would have simply enrolled in the class, and I could have legitimately graduated from college.
And had a 2-for-1, but
Instead of sneaking through on a technicality, I think I dropped Coach Larry Terry's tennis class probably after they determined whether or not I got my diploma.
I'd love to see you play tennis, Crudy.
Come on. I'm like the Ivan Gulagog of co-hosted tennis.
Oh.
And if you join me on the courts, we could play mixed doubles. So it's going to be a really big show.
Sorry, but Daryl and I could be on the other side and just not have to move because our length would just cover both the whole court.
No doubt.
And the width.
That's what I'm meaning. The width, the horizontal width with our arms. We could cover I could cover an entire half a court. He can cover the other half a court.
You know, Daryl's a big boy. Former Packer. He is like NFL player size, 6'4". I'm not going to guess a weight, but it's more than me and certainly more than Dom.
He's definitely
like
less than me, though.
Is he? You think he's smaller than you?
I'm not saying smaller. I'm just saying weighs less.
Well, but he seems muscular, and, you know, they say muscle is more dense, weighs more.
Muscle weighs more. That's right.
Either way, it's not going to be a comparison. The guy played in the NFL. I played maybe high school football.
Maybe.
Well, that's more than Dominic can say.
Well, did you know Crudy went to state?
You did know that. I played in a state high school football championship game.
I filmed one.
Yeah. Man, if that's the standard, I've done lots of sports. But let's get into the politics, boys. Going to have too much fun. Going to run out of time in this segment. And then we'll have to retire like Keith Olbermann is threatening to do. Retire from political commentary.
What?
And I'm thinking the job's not done. But he claimed 2 days ago, very prescient, I think, Dom, that he was getting out of the business. He's leaving.
Didn't he leave and come back and leave and come back? I mean, this is getting to be like the Brett Favre retirement. Well, what? Or what? I'm just saying.
Are you bad-mouthing my guy, Keith?
I'm just wondering what you're talking about.
You think he's more needed doing SportsCenter again?
I
mean,
think-
ESPN's
that
laying people off.
If you're going to be, I mean, he's more than a sports guy, obviously. He comments on political and lifestyle issues, Crudy. So, but yes, his background is in sports. But if you're into politics and you're into this thing that's going on, you know, how do you walk away from that? How do you say you're going to retire and what? Not do it anymore? Going to spend all your time covering the NFL? Come on.
I'm not clear what he's going to do now. Maybe he's made sufficient income in his lifetime. He was going to retire. Give up this sport. You know, I'd really like to read a commentary he wrote, but this is completely out of order, and I cannot read it.
Come on, man.
That's not helpful at all.
It's not out of order, Crudy. You're out of order. We
This
don't have time
whole
to really get into
story
it at
is
this
out of
point.
order.
Well, let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll recalibrate. We'll come back. We'll put it in order, Crudy. I'll number the sheets for you. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll get
Please
into
do.
the politics. What Olbermann is saying. Of course, the news of the day.
What
Michael
comes-
Flynn pleads guilty to lying to the FBI on contacts with Russian ambassador. Just a simple lie to the FBI.
You know, I had another song in mind here as well. Another one bites the dust. Damn it. That would have been for Michael Flynn. Perhaps we'll reset the music. As well, and also, I understand, Tom, your good buddy Rojo's found his way to a yes. Apparently, the Senate's going to vote on the tax cuts for the very
Well,
rich.
there's a long way to go yet, Crudy, as Senator Ron Johnson has said, but he's apparently been offered a seat at the table, so he's going to be the pass-through guy. He's going to sit there and make sure, the LLCs and the
He's a
S-corps,
committed yes, Dom. He's a yes. He's
got a
voting
seat
yes.
at the table. He's looking forward to getting things done.
You know what the Republicans did? They saw the news this morning. Michael Flynn first charged, then already pled guilty, already left the court today. And they said, you know what? This might be the very last opportunity that Donald Trump has to sign any piece of legislation into law. So we'll reset. We'll get better. We'll come back with you. Festivus Friday. Damn it! We'll do better, I promise.
got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Gary. Who's Gary?
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster.
And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and he puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like, he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, that
I'm using
failed
facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
It's Monday through Friday beginning at 7 a.m. on News Talk 1510 a.m. From 7 to 9, it's the Earl Ingram Show. From 9 to 11, take a deep dive into Milwaukee news and Wisconsin politics on 414 Wisconsin with Brian Kelly and Daryl Ingram. The Tom Hartman program is next from 11 to 2. Then from 2 to 5, it's the Devil's Advocates with Dom and Crute. Join the resistance. News Talk.
Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call 0-489-9000.
Blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextsStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Oh, Gary!
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD. Streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. And you can always join us on the phones. It's Festivus Friday. I mean, literally, this is Festivus Friday. Air your grievances here, 844-967-2789.
And here we go. First of all, thank you, Brian. That's the music I wanted to hear today. This one's for you, Michael Flynn. And very, very soon, it's for you, Donald Trump. And Keith Olbermann.
There you
I always get that wrong. Isn't that a character in a Shakespeare play?
That's Oberon. And then there's an Oberlin College as well.
Oberon's a beer, isn't it?
Oberon is a delicious beer named after the character in a Shakespearean play.
Hey, there we go.
Extreme, yeah.
Olbermann posted this 2 days ago. Why I think Trump is finished and my work is done. Very prescient piece. I'm going to read from it. I am confident. This guy used to be on MSNBC every night. He was my must-watch commentary guy, Dom. I am confident now, even more so than I have been throughout the last year, that this nightmare presidency of Donald John Trump will end prematurely and end soon. And I am thus also confident that this is the correct moment to end this series of commentaries. Well, Keith might be leaving, but I'm sticking around, Dom. The important stuff first, he writes. There are 7 routes in front of Trump. Each inevitably ends in his impeachment or resignation. The first, likeliest, became 1,000 times more likely with the Thanksgiving news of a possible deal between Robert Mueller and General Michael Flynn. It's not possible. Now it's reported, right, Don?
That's right. This was 2 days ago.
As I reported, Keith Olbermann writes, here as long ago as April 4th, the most specifically qualified expert alive on the subject of prosecuting a president, my friend, the Nixon White House counsel, John Dean, put it to me very simply. Mueller is not shooting down. Mueller does not make a deal with Flynn to get Paul Manafort. He does not make a deal with Flynn to get Jared Kushner. He does not make a deal with Flynn to get Trump Fredo Jr. Mueller makes a deal with Flynn to get Donald Trump. Period. The Flynn deal, report suggests Mueller has completely assembled the backbone of his case and is now just hanging the meat from it. And just as importantly, if Flynn was merely considered a deal, has merely considered a deal from Mueller, it's almost necessary means Flynn either doesn't believe he would get a pardon from Trump or that Mueller, as I've also reported here, has succeeded in finding a way around Trump's pardon power, and either of these near certainty spell Trump's doom. So that's the most obvious of the 7 ways for Trump to go. Mueller really will get him on Russia. It will be ugly. It will tear this country nearly apart, but it will be necessary. The second way is, and I've also repeatedly suggested here, that Mueller doesn't really need to prove anything about Trump and Russian sabotage of the election. There seems to be so much obstruction of justice from the firing of James Comey. Let's not forget that sprung from him, Trump asking Comey to go easy on Michael Flynn. Flynn pled guilty today. I read on. To the lies about Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with the Russians, that it's hard to pick out a key player in the Trump inner circle who who couldn't be guilty of it. Trump could be impeached on just obstruction of justice and a few lesser charges. Nixon was about to be. Or there's a third way. We could be spared the trauma of a Russian impeachment or an obstruction of justice impeachment, as we were spared it with Nixon, if Trump is smart or just sufficiently scared and he resigns. Or if he isn't, those around him who could still save themselves by selling him out will force him to resign. A modified version of this, of course, the fourth possible outcome, that even if Mueller is months away from his denouement, did I say that right? Denouement? The
Yes.
Republicans will impeach or remove Trump by spring purely to save their own asses, Dom.
After he signs tax reform, perhaps. Again, Keith Olbermann in GQ.com. The state elections in Virginia and Oklahoma earlier this year show what could face Republican incumbents nationwide next November. Not only were Democratic victories overwhelming, but half of them were little morality plays. The 26-year-old lesbian beats the Republican in the district Trump won by nearly 40 points a year ago. The transgender candidate in Virginia beats the guy who wrote an anti-equality bathroom bill. The boyfriend of a news reporter shot to death on camera beats the Republican pro-NRA candidate. I'll say it again. Richard Nixon was not forced out of office by Democrats. Not really even by Watergate. Democrats controlled the Senate and House every day that Nixon was president. They could have impeached him at any point. He resigned when the leading Republicans went into the White House and told him that not only would he be impeached and convicted, but he would take all of them down with him, and they weren't going to let him do that. So that's the fourth way out. Trump becomes more of an albatross to Republicans and, more importantly, more of a rallying cry to the Democrats, and the Republicans remove him before the midterms and then boastfully run for re-election on having removed him. The fifth endgame is the same thing, only faster. The Republicans around him pull off that palace coup that is perfectly legal under the 25th Amendment, and Mike Pence and Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell eject Trump by simply stating he's unfit and getting their majorities to agree he's unfit. And if you don't think that Pence and Ryan and McConnell would do that, you didn't see Trump crazy tweet about the Man of the Year award, and you don't know Pence and Ryan and McConnell. The sixth means by which Trump leaves early is, of course, that if Republicans don't impeach Trump before the midterms, the Democrats will be able to after them. If Virginia and New Jersey and Oklahoma are indicators, the Democrats could take the House and might need as few as 25 vulnerable Republicans in the Senate to vote guilty to remove him from office.
Let me bring this piece to conclusion. Thank you all for the kind words and all the support. Have fun, storm the castle. My work here is done. Matter of fact, so is Trump's. Resist, remove, peace. Keith Olbermann. How could I not know how to say the man's name? I've loved this guy for 10 going on 20 years. Come back with us. You'll love us, Kroot, and Dom. It's easy. Fancy Brian, that's when it gets tricky. 844-967-2789. Don't call us now, though. We've got Jim Santel, a former U.S. attorney. We're going to speculate about what comes next for Trump. Conviction, impeachment.
If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
The Stephanie Miller Show is on twice daily, 6 to 9 p.m. and midnight to 3 a.m. You can stream The Stephanie Miller Show and all of our fine programming on newstalk1510am.com.
Did you ever eat a perfect peach? Flavorful and succulent, juice dripping from your mouth. That's what you can expect every time you shop at Pete's Fruit Market. A perfect peach or any other fresh produce to satisfy your taste buds. Try Pete's brand new, clean, bottled, full-service grocery store on Martin Luther King and North Avenue. Daily specials, organic fruits and vegetables, and always a perfect peach. Go to Pete's Fruit Market in Bronzeville. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Good afternoon. It's 2:35 or 2:32 for 1510 a.m. WRRD Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Milwaukee County is on pace to have a record number of opioid overdoses this year. Also, Wisconsin's new DNR lawyer is from a conservative public interest group that supports rolling back environmental laws. Auto thefts in Greenfield this year are more than double the average for the city. And the DNR has approved a permit on wetlands for a new multi-million-dollar golf course along the shore of Lake Michigan. And the Bucks beat the Trailblazers last night, 103-91. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 50. And Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the upper 40s. Currently, it is 52 degrees in Milwaukee and 49 degrees in Waukesha. For 1510 a.m., WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
Charged, never convicted. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, a Festivus Friday here on Brady Street. Dom, this show's getting better right now. We've got a fine guest. He's joining us live via phone, Jim Santel, a former U.S. attorney. Jim, welcome to the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Good to be with you this afternoon.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, sir, we've been looking for an opportunity to have you on the air, and this seems like an excellent start point for our relationship.
It is News Day, yes.
Jim, got to ask you, what was your first reaction this morning when you heard the breaking news like the rest of us? Michael Flynn, first and foremost, was being charged, and then subsequently has already been to the courthouse and pled guilty. This seems quite rapid to me, sir.
Well, it plainly comes in the wake of an awful lot of work that the special counsel has been doing. The process here culminated today in Mr. Flynn's pleading guilty to an information, which is effectively a substitute for an indictment, which means the grand jury did not return these particular charges, but it's the same thing. And there is a very interesting statement of the offense that Bob Mueller and his colleagues filed today that I very much commend to reading by all of your listeners, because it really summarizes so very well what this is about today, and then portends some things about the future, which is, I'm sure, also a subject of an awful lot of interest today.
Jim, for those of us that haven't read the filings, help us out, sir. What's contained? Absolutely. What do you find of most interest, sir?
Absolutely. So let me go back and do a little bit of criminal process here. Again, an information has been filed. It's very brief, and basically it focuses on false statements that Mike Flynn made to the FBI. It is in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1001, carries with it a 5-year penalty if you make false statements to any federal investigative agency, in this case the FBI. And basically, the statement of the offense and the particular information, which again is really the charging document here, describes the fact that Michael Flynn, in January 24th, a few days after the president was inaugurated, met with the FBI and made at least 2, if not a series of false statements to them about 2 separate events. And they had to do with conversations that Mike Flynn had in December of 2016, again, after the election, but before the inauguration, with Ambassador Kislyak of the Russian government. One of those on December 22nd, involving a request to the Russian government, and to Kislyak in particular, to delay a United Nations vote on sanctions involving Israel's building of settlements. The second one having to do with a conversation that Mike Flynn had, again with Kislyak, significantly asking him to refrain from escalating the situation in response to some sanctions that the Obama administration was imposing. I know that sounds all very complicated, but it really is fairly straightforward. Basically, he denied having, not the conversations, but denied making the requests and engaging with Kislyak on these two issues in conversations with Kislyak in late December before the administration. That's the nature of the information, the charges against Mike Flynn today. Those are the false statements to which he is pleading guilty, and that's viewed narrowly what today's proceeding is all about.
Jim, I've seen worse accusations leveled at Michael Flynn, everything from the possible rendition of a Turkish cleric well, let's start there, sir. If there are much more significant charges that Flynn could have faced, is it unusual to plead, be in cooperation with the prosecutor, yet still have to go and plead guilty before the courts this morning?
My own perspective, based upon my 30 years with the U.S. Department of Justice as a prosecutor, both criminal and civil, is that this is not unusual. And I think you've got it exactly right. Plainly, there are other things that, again, we don't know the specifics about them, but plainly there are other possibilities here for other charges against Mike Flynn. I'm not indicating that the evidence there would support them at this point, but we've talked about in the media, money laundering, tax offenses, false statements, the Logan Act issues related to his possible involvement in foreign affairs of the foreign country and the kinds of things you just described here. What's plainly going on here is not atypical in terms of dealing with and managing a case involving someone, you hit it right on the head, who's cooperating. This is carving out a relatively small, I suspect, portion of the kind of focus that Bob Mueller is highlighting today. And plainly, Mike Flynn is pleading guilty to false statements. There could be much more out there. What it does indicate, however, and we could talk more about some of the other interesting aspects of these documents, is that there certainly is a possibility, unknown today, that Mike Flynn may be charged with some of these other violations. There is a reference, for example, in the statement of the offense to the Turkey project, and so that that is out there as well. This does not mean that there could not be future charges. I also find significant the fact that there is not today a certain sentencing date, and that means that plainly the cooperation continues, and we are nowhere near, from my perspective, the end of hearing from Mike Flynn and hearing about other things that he knows about these other matters that could have been charged today.
You're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD. We're speaking with Jim Santel, a former U.S. attorney, talking about the guilty plea Michael Flynn has given today, lying to the FBI about contacts with the Russian ambassador. Now, Jim, I've watched a little Columbo, and I think I know how this kind of works. So it seems to me, given we see these other indictments coming down with Manafort and Gates, and then we have Papadopoulos, who also pled guilty to lying to the FBI, and now we have Flynn pleading guilty to lying to the FBI. Now, in that statement, he literally says that he, ran this up the flagpole to a senior transition official down at Mar-a-Lago. How would
reportedly Jared Kushner.
Yeah, how would you interpret that, Jim?
Sure, and I think if there is one, you asked me a few moments ago what struck me as most significant, and it's just that. Your question is the one that I think your listeners should also focus on as they read these documents. There are references in these admittedly non-specifically identifying documents to high-level presidential transition team members. One in particular, at one point it's referenced and sort of in the plural, that and again, read through the documents and you'll see the particular story here, but it's unmistakably set forth there that during the course of his engagement with Kislyak in late December, these conversations back and forth, Mike Flynn is also talking, according to the special counsel, with these PTT, Presidential Transition Team, very senior members, members of the transition team, about what to say, communicating back and forth with them. That, I think, is the single most significant aspect of what has been put today into the public record. We don't know exactly who that may be, who those people may be. Again, at one point in the documents, it makes reference to one. Other points, it makes reference to several or more than one person. Presumably, it's not just one person as you look at the entire description here, but who are those people? And undeniably, special counsel is looking at that today. That's the real significant takeaway as I look at the statement of the offense and I look at the criminal information and also look at the statements made today by Mr. Flynn and by the government as this prosecution is made public.
Jim, bear with me for a moment. White House lawyer Ty Cobb reported in the Washington Post. Nothing about the guilty plea or the charge implicates anyone other than Mr. Flynn. The conclusion of this phase of the special counsel's work demonstrates again that the special counsel is moving with all deliberate speed and clears the way for a prompt and reasonable conclusion, again, seeming to indicate that this may be closer to the end than the beginning. Now, Jim, I have lots of friends on the Facebooks telling me, hey, see, all you crazy liberals, all you progressives, all you Trump haters, where's the Russia charges? This has nothing to do with Russia. Literally like hanging on as if, the circle around Trump is not really part of Trump himself. Jim, in the years that you've been doing this, where do you see as a timeline? Are we halfway done? Are we almost done? What do you think's happening right now? And given your opinion.
Right. There are plenty. Your question underscores the most important thing, which is the only people who really know where things are Bob Mueller and his staff, and they're very good attorneys. They are apolitical. They are nonpartisan, and they are doing this as a responsible, decent. Again, non-partisan parts of our government. It is difficult to know exactly where this is going. It is plainly not at the end. And while it is certainly true that in these particular documents filed today, there are not specific, there is a specific reference, obviously, to engagement, and I don't mean to minimize the significance of that. I mean, one of the things that is also striking is that Mr. Flynn is today acknowledging that he did ask the Russian ambassador to refrain from acting aggressively on the sanctions issue. That is no small thing. That is no small significant event that we've got that very clear articulation of that connection on a substantive issue. So to the extent that there is representation that, gosh, this is just about lying, yes, it's about lying at its core. But Mr. Flynn is also today acknowledging that he was attempting to and making requests of the Russian government, both with respect to this United Nations vote and also the sanctions. But to get to your question just about timing, my own sense is that things are plainly proceeding. You have got a very focused and very, again, professional group of people who are doing this in a methodical, logical manner. I was hearing recently that, there's a prediction that this is going to be done by the end of the month of December. I think that's very, very difficult to imagine, just because all of this requires a huge amount of not only investigation, but also debriefing, going back and forth. We had the report yesterday that Jared Kushner was called in, obviously at some point, to talk about a specific component of this investigation. Again, we don't know what that's all about, but what's plainly happening here is that the investigators, the prosecutors here, like any good prosecution team, building the case as we move forward. And whether it is months, it is possible it could be several years until all of this is completely resolved through the not only pleas and also sentences, but also trials and appellate proceedings if convicted defendants choose to pursue those things. So the notion that this is going to be done very quickly, or that this is, I would buy into the notion that this is not the beginning of the end. This is somewhere the beginning of the beginning, if you will, and maybe a little bit beyond that. But it is certainly significant, as I said before, that there are these references to others at the high levels of the presidential transition team. I think it's fair to say that Bob Mueller is far from done.
Jim, is it fair to speculate that Mueller doesn't flip, if you will, doesn't flip Flynn to go get Paul Manafort? He doesn't flip Flynn to go get Jared Kushner. In fact, you don't even flip Flynn to go get Don Jr. There's only one target I would see, to my rampant speculation, sir, that would be worthy of flipping Flynn and giving him some sort of grace from prosecution. That, of course, is the big cheese, Cheeto Jesus, Trump himself. Jim, what is the likelihood that this is a direct line from Flynn's guilty plea to the prosecution of Trump?
That is a terrific question, and it's one plainly that we're going to be all speculating about. I might part company with you a bit if the focus of the question is that there's only one line here. There are plainly, as I said, references to multiple people in the statement of the offense, and we know that we're going in that direction. Certainly, Jared Kushner's name has been mentioned. I would agree with you when as you indicate that the fact that Paul Manafort has also been indicted means that probably Bob Mueller does not need Mike Flynn for a future prosecution of Paul Manafort. That's not to say there could not be additional charges against Manafort, but as these things become public and others are either charged or plead guilty to informations, the full cast, if you will, of people who may be subject to those prosecutions become clear. There's certainly other people in the presidential transition team who could be in line and could be targets, minimum subjects of this prosecution, and there is no doubt that as that moves up the chain and as the investigation goes forward, the president certainly should be and needs to be concerned about that potential.
Jim, I got at least one last question for you. Last time we went through indictments on Manafort and Gates, and we saw the guilty plea of Papadopoulos. My understanding was there were about 5 sealed cases on the docket, and there are, about 3 cases between Gates and Papadopoulos. Jim, is it fair, rampant speculation to think that these sealed indictments sequentially might all reflect indictments that have already occurred against Trump associates or people connected?
Yes, and I will say that the speculation is the key word here. And again, I'm trying to be very balanced about this, as you can plainly sense. We don't know. We don't know. But the fact that they are sealed means that, again, you've got a prosecutor here in Bob Mueller and his staff who are doing this very methodically, very thoughtfully, releasing into the public domain at the right time and the right sequence what they need to release. And those things that have not yet been sealed are plainly going to be the subject of speculation by you, by all of us, by others. And probably the very best and wisest thing to do is to wait and see exactly what happens as those are released. But all of this, again, all these good questions of the last several minutes reflect the fact that this is not done. And so to the extent that there is any suggestion that, with the Papadopoulos indictment, the Manafort indictment, and the Flynn indictment, we're coming to the end, that is a theory and that is speculation with which I do not concur. There is more coming here, and again, I cannot underscore enough the significance of these references without specific names to people in the presidential transition team who are in concert with Mike Flynn, in conversation with him about what to say, what not to say to Ambassador Kislyak, and communicating back and forth. That is the significant thing today that I think your listeners should focus on as they themselves read these documents.
Well, Jim, we got more breaking news on the Chiron. This a new one for us as well as you. CNN is reporting Kushner is the very senior Trump transition member who told Flynn to contact the Russian ambassador. In and of itself, is contact with the Russian ambassador by Flynn or at the direction of Kushner, is that evidence of crime, sir?
Again, it depends upon a number of different facts that have to come out. I see that that's being reported. I think ABC may have also reported that at least one of these individuals is Jared Kushner. It is difficult for any of us who don't have all of the information that Bob Mueller has and that the grand jury has to make this determination today whether or not there is sufficient evidence to indict. There is no doubt, as I said at the outset, there's an important law called the Logan Act, very infrequently prosecuted, that basically prohibits private citizens who are not in governmental circles in the right position to engage in foreign governments and with foreign governments and to affect the foreign policy of our nation. that's the one that's plainly implicated as we go forward on these kinds of specific statements.
Well, Jim Santel, former U.S. Attorney, thank you so much for joining us here on the Devil's Advocates and playing the rampant Trump-Russia speculation game with us, sir.
Yes, we'll look forward to chatting with you about this. And again, it is a simple and important read for all Americans today. The statement of offense, the very simple information. They're about 6-7 pages altogether. I encourage you to read those first, and then your listeners, that is, and then listen to all of the other good commentary that is out there about what this means. But just have that basic information. Take a look at those court documents. They'll give you what you need to know.
Jim Santel, former U.S. Attorney, thank you so much for joining us here on the Devil's Advocates. You all
good to be with you today.
Thank you, Jim. You can all join us here. Rampant speculation. Welcome at 844-967-2789. It's Festivus Friday. I got no grievances with speculation.
Lock her up. Lock her up.
How does this relate to our discussion of the uses of irony?
Just one more thing.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella, Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. We provide 99.999% uptime. That's the highest availability and performance you can get. You have enough to worry about with your business data, web, security, and cloud services, so we'll manage your IT so you don't have to. Visit 5nines.com. That's the number 5nines.com.
Hello. My name is Earl Ingram, morning show host on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD at a new time slot, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Saturdays noon to 3. Join us at 844-967-2789, 844-967-2789. Stream us at newstalk1510am.com. Spread the word. Earl Ingram on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD 7 to 9. I'm back.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
Farming is one of the most difficult and dangerous jobs in America. It's a fact of farming life that when the equipment breaks down, the farmer is the one doing the fixing. One of our challenging cases involved a Dodge County farmer who was left paralyzed while repairing a farm wagon that had a defective design. The jury found the manufacturer negligent and awarded our client damages, including pain, suffering, disability, and a significant amount in loss of society and companionship to his spouse. If your life is disrupted by injury or other legal dispute, Lawton and Cates can help you achieve a successful result. Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton and Cates, 282-6200.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
Tune in to The Resistance, Monday through Friday beginning at 7 a.m. on News Talk 1510 a.m. From 7 to 9, it's The Earl Ingram Show. From 9 to 11, take a deep dive into Milwaukee news and Wisconsin politics on 414 Wisconsin with Brian Kelly and Daryl Ingram. The Tom Hartman program is next from 11 to 2. Then from 2 to 5, it's the Devil's Advocates with Dom and Crute. Join the resistance. News Talk, 1510 AM, WRRD.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM, WRRD. Phone lines open Festivus Friday. Air your grievances anytime, 844-967-2789.
If Jared Kushner goes down, does Ivanka get conjugal visits?
Prison sex.
I hear it's the best kind.
Oh, no.
What James Comey have to say
James
today,
Comey
Dom?
tweeting out today. Let's see, this is from The Hill.
Very biblical stuff.
Posted picture of Rapids in his Instagram account Friday after the plea was announced, accompanied by the caption, "But let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream."
I bet you Donald Trump's also going to wonder, can he get conjugal visits with Ivanka?
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did.
You
Come
did.
back with us. We got big, huge news.
Huge.
We're going to make the announcement next. More Devil's Advocates when we come back right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRD 1510 AM, Waukesha.
We're not going to do anything stupid, are we?
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy, but know you need to move? Hi, folks. This is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet-friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009. Or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm State Representative Jocasta Zamaripa.
And I'm Joel Clayfish.
Listen to us on the Joel and Jocasta Show, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
She's a Latina woman from the inner city of Milwaukee, and I'm a white guy from the suburbs. Diversity in the white guy. You are not going to believe what you hear on this show. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen. News Talk, 1510 AM, WRRD.
Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha.
Flynn names Kushner. Trump touts Tillerson. I'm Michael Toscano. Fallout now from former top Trump aide Michael Flynn pleading guilty today to lying to the FBI about his Russia contacts. Flynn's plea deal has him working with Russia special counsel Robert Mueller, and there are reports Flynn has named Trump aide and son-in-law Jared Kushner as the campaign official who instructed him to open contact with the Russians. Flynn's actions getting the attention of Mark Warner, top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee.
We've got a number of major figures like Donald Trump Jr., and I want to bring back Jared Kushner, particularly in light of some of the supposed comments that General Flynn may have been making.
President Trump canceled a White House photo op today to stay away from reporters' questions, but we have heard from him, as Ann Cates tells us.
President Trump has taken to Twitter in the wake of media reports that he will replace Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. The president tweeted that while he disagrees with Tillerson on certain subjects, they work well together. And President Trump called speculation that Tillerson will be leaving his administration fake news.
The Senate edging closer to a vote this evening on the Republican tax cut bill, even as the bill is undergoing changes. Phil Mattingly with the play-by-play on Capitol Hill.
Republican leaders decided that when it came to the deficit issue, the issue that really roiled everything last night, the issue that set Senator Bob Corker off, that they were willing to cut Senator Bob Corker loose. They were willing to make a deal with Susan Collins, to make a deal with Ron Johnson, and to make a deal with Jeff Flake. Because of that, it looks like, and it's very clear, that they have more than the 50 votes, or at least the 50 votes they're going to need to pass this.
Sheriff Hans Miller of Onslow County, North Carolina, says they've been overwhelmed with support in the search for 3-year-old Mariah Woods, missing since Sunday.
730 moms, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, siblings, and others. Military members came out. They wanted to participate.
But no sign of the little girl yet. I'm Michael Toscano.
Hiring is important, but finding the right people can be a real challenge. That's why ZipRecruiter is obsessed with finding you qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds candidates with the right experience, then alerts the most qualified ones to apply for your job as soon as you post it. You can even add screening questions to your job post, narrowing your focus to only relevant applicants, saving you time. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within just one day. The right candidates are out there. This is how you find them. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. We're so confident that ZipRecruiter will get you better results than anywhere else. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talk. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talk. ZipRecruiter.com/talk.
Construction workers are racing to avoid a reenactment of the curse of Billy Penn in Philadelphia. John Stolness explains.
For years, there was an agreement in place that no building would stand taller than the statue of the city's founder, William Penn, perched atop City Hall. However, when the city's first skyscraper rose above that statue in the 1980s, sports teams in the city suffered a long championship drought. That was until 2007, when a small statuette of Penn was placed atop a taller skyscraper. The Phillies won the World Series the following year. Now, as work is being done on an 1,100-foot skyscraper that is now the tallest structure in the city, crews have placed another small statuette of Penn on top in order to keep the curse from affecting the Philadelphia Eagles, who currently have the best record in the NFL. I'm John Stoltz.
It's college football championship weekend. Tonight, Stanford meets USC in the Pac-12 championship game at Levi Stadium. The rest of the conference championship games kick off tomorrow, including Auburn facing Georgia. I'm Michael Toscano.
So I always have big plans to start my shopping early. Then life gets in the way. But thanks to thecompanystore.com, I always get the gifts right. They make great homemade gifts that are perfect for everyone in my family. And if you know my family, that's a gift in itself.
TheCompanyStore.com has been perfecting the comforts of home for over 100 years. From cozy pajamas and mittens to home decor and more. Visit TheCompanyStore.com and enter the code ELF by December 21st for guaranteed Christmas delivery plus free shipping.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at
Good afternoon. It's 3:05 for 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Wisconsin's new DNR lawyer is from a conservative public interest group that supports rolling back environmental laws. In a break from past practice, the Department of Natural Resources has gone outside of the agency to hire a new chief legal counsel. Governor Walker has appointed Jake Curtis to manage legal affairs for the DNR, which oversees fish and game laws, regulates air and water regulations, and manages public lands and cleans up toxic pollution sites. Curtis had previously worked for the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty and its Center for Competitive Federalism. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 50. And Sunday, mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 40s. Currently, it is 51 degrees in Milwaukee and 47 in Waukesha. For 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates radio show. And Dominic, as promised, right now, very shortly, we're going to make a huge announcement. This is a very instrumental day in this little radio station's existence. WRRD 1510 AM's got a big announcement, but we're going to start by introducing a person who is instrumental in this change for our little station. His name is John Daniels. He's the director of a group called Alive Milwaukee. John, welcome to the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Thanks, Mike. I'm so glad to be on with you all.
Thank you, John.
Well, John, let's start by getting to know a little bit about Alive Milwaukee. Then we'll tell them what the big news is. John, what's your organization do?
Sure. ALIVE is actually an acronym which stands for Administering Life in Vocational Experiences. And what our organization does is we take youngsters' passion and help them to figure out what career matches up with that. So we've had some experience both with the arts as well as with more traditional careers working with youngsters across the Wisconsin area.
And John, when you talk about helping advance careers, your organization helps to fund a college education for many young people in this community. Do they not, John?
We've been so grateful for our support of the Milwaukee area, where we've been able to send individuals to Morehouse College without debt so that they can complete their entire college career. And in addition to that, we have 65 additional college students who we are supporting with book scholarships as well as professional development to make sure that the best and brightest do return here to Milwaukee.
And explain that, the commitment that these young scholars must make to this community, John, when they're done receiving a little bit of help from your group.
Well, we know that the best way to grow a company is to have the best people. And we've lost over the last decade a lot of our brightest talent to the East Coast and to the southern region, just because people aren't exposed to the opportunities that are here in Wisconsin. It's amazing growing up even here in Milwaukee that not until my wife from the East Coast came here did I realize some of the treasures that our city has. And so it's been my commitment along with 30 other young professionals that we would open up our network so that we can really show college students all the great things about Milwaukee and expose them to not only internships, but the cultural resources of our city.
Well, John, perhaps that's where my little organization, WRRD 1510 AM, comes in. I know it was your ambition, your group's hope, to launch a small LP, as it's called, low power radio station, to create radio opportunities for people in the Alive Milwaukee program. Well, John, that's a big hill to climb. I know this. I've done this recently, sir. It's tough putting a radio station together. So, John, we are partnering with your organization, and WRRD 1510 AM is going to offer internships to young people from the Alive Milwaukee program. John, my only question, when are you going to get me some applications, sir?
Oh, well, it's great to have great people. And so you will be getting applications from me sooner than you expect. And so I'm excited to be able to walk in the station and see young people working with both you and Dom.
Outstanding. Folks, you are listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. We got a fine guest live via phone. His name, John Daniels. He is the director of a program called Alive Milwaukee. Our little radio station, WRRD 1510 AM, we're partnering with this organization to help provide internships, educational opportunities
for young people from the Milwaukee community that want to advance, hopefully in the radio field. Although, John, I hope you tell them there's no money in this industry, sir. Warn them all off. They should all be attorneys like you, John.
Well, I think one of the great things about having experience in any of the media fields or even the arts is the exposure that it gives you to thinking differently. And so one of the great things that I learned as I was at the University of Michigan working in music technology is the area of learning how to think critically. So I know that just from meeting you all and learning how you think, that they're going to be able to pick up some of those skills from you all as well.
Well, we certainly hope so. John, let's explain to people what this means precisely. When I talk about a partnership, we're going to have the young people come to our radio station. But John, unfortunately, at Live Milwaukee, as you guys grow, and you guys are growing leaps and bounds as I understand it, sir, but it's a little too much to put the construction of a radio station on your platter. John, your organization has relinquished your right to build a low-power FM radio station. Is that correct?
That's correct. I think one of the things that we're so thankful for even today is that there's certain things that we've been very blessed to do well. And there's other things that, even though they're great ambitions, they take more time than we may have available being a small nonprofit organization. And so being able to partner with WRRD, which is a fine radio station, so that the youngsters can still get the skills that they need, is something that we're so excited about partnering with.
So, John, what this means effectively is you have generously stepped aside, and just for the record, John, there's been no financial exchange here, correct? You and I, we've made gentlemen's agreements and we've written them down, but no money has changed hands here, has it, John?
That's correct. That's correct.
I'm sure some wish you had gotten rich on this transaction, John, but hopefully this is a good long-term partnership for both organizations. But John, as you step aside, that has freed up the frequency that your organization had the right to construct an FM at for my organization. Now, we have the ability, and we in fact have made application for that specific FM frequency in conjunction with your organization. John, the FM frequency is 101.7 FM, and we look forward in the next 60 to 90 days launching a 24-hour broadcast schedule on 101.7 FM. And John, you can't believe what a big deal that will be to an AM daytimer radio station, sir.
Just from hearing the programming and hearing the positive impact in the community, I know that having a 24-hour station for you all is going to be so great for our city.
And John, we look forward to bringing a little new programming, some of which is coming through you, sir. Let's talk about the new Sunday morning starting on December 10th. John, can you tell us a little more about what we'll be playing out here on WRD 1510 AM?
Sure. What we've done is we've reached out to some local churches that we partner with and really allowed some students to really curate a Sunday morning experience for your audience. And so on Sunday mornings, they will be able to hear a variety of inspirational messages, some inspirational music, and a little bit of gospel during that time right here on WRRD.
And John, we're looking forward to that as well. Also, sir, I understand you're a little bit of an audiophile, as you mentioned, University of Michigan. John, you're going to help us create some late-night programming. As a current AM daytimer, we don't have late-night programming, John, just live stream replays. But, John, what do you have in mind for the 11 o'clock hour?
Sure. When it's almost midnight, your day is almost over. And as you approach that 11 o'clock hour, some look for the time to turn so we can get to a new day. We are expecting the programming from that 11 o'clock hour to be that inspiration that will push you all the way to the next day so you can see the new dawning of the new day.
Outstanding. John, we are more than excited about this partnership between our two organizations. Any final thoughts? I know you've got big ambitions to continue to serve, especially the young people of Milwaukee. John, you hope to continue growing Alive Milwaukee. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we're at 75 college students this year in our flagship Milwaukee Fellows program. Over the next 3 years, we plan to grow that to 200 college students. In addition to that, we're also doing some additional STEAM programming, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programming, where we're really helping students to understand that they can do anything. I actually did this call on the phone today because I'm sitting next to one of my students, one of my mentees, Andreas Burtz. And so he's one of the students who I know is going to be phenomenal. And so I know that as we look out over this community, we know that there are students across who are listening and can really excel in whatever area they put their mind to.
And John, if people would like to find out more about the Alive Milwaukee program, perhaps support your organization through volunteerism or perhaps with their financial contributions, how can they get a hold of you, John, or how can they get a hold of Alive Milwaukee?
Easiest way is to go to www.AliveMKE.com. Again, that's ALIVEMKE.com. And there's information about all our programs and opportunities to donate at that time.
John Daniels, director of Alive Milwaukee. John, I look forward to a long-term relationship between our two organizations. And, sir, you've made mine a merry Festivus weekend. We look forward, of course, to launching this FM, this 24-hour signal on 101.7 FM, hopefully within 60 to 90 days. John, can't wait to see you again. Have a happy holiday if we don't talk this month, sir.
You have a happy holiday. Can't wait.
Thank you. John Daniels, director of Alive Milwaukee. Folks, you are listening to 1510 AM WRRD, soon to be 101.7 FM. And this is a game changer. We're going to tell you why and perhaps even give you the backstory. You talking about timelines? I got some crazy events that have happened and transpired between there and where we are now here. Hopefully it's a worthwhile listen, because I'm telling this story next. Come back with us. Again, thank you, John Daniels, director of Alive Milwaukee. What a terrific organization. We look forward to having their young people join us here at WRD 1510 AM. We need the interns. We need the workers. We need the passionate young millennials. I tell you what, can't wait to get started. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. I'm going to give you the backstory.
Boy, this looks like very big stuff. It's a major award. We're going to be friends for a long, long period of time.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster.
And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and he puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy.
Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, that
I'm using facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
If you're like a lot of companies, you know you need IT, but you aren't sure where to start. That's where Five Nines comes in. Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO. For almost 15 years, Five Nines has been providing IT solutions to companies just like yours. We'll show you the solutions that are right for your business and give you the roadmap to success in the future. Find us at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
Well, you guys are having a good show so far.
Hey, could you say that again? Just not for our sake, Paul, but for the sake of the audience.
Yeah, tell everybody once again what a great show we are having.
You guys have a good show almost every day.
Wow, almost. All right, thanks for calling, Paul. I'm just kidding.
Okay, every day.
Tweet some shade at you, Paul.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Brady Street here on WRRD 1510 AM, WRRD. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter, Devil Radio, on the phones, always toll free. Airing your grievances at 844-967-2789.
Indeed, it is a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Dom, when we launched WRD 1510 AM, this was the song we came out of the test patterns with.
So early in the morning, man.
A little AC/DC. First and foremost, let me thank John Daniels, director of Live Milwaukee. I look forward to a long partnership with that organization. Very excited to bring some of the youth of Milwaukee into our little radio station. Learn them up.
Yeah, you're getting old, Crudy.
Teach them you don't want to do radio. But if you're going to do radio, I can tell you this. 85% of the listenership is on the FM side of the dial. Milwaukee is an unusual radio market in that a lot of AM listenership, and that's primarily due to our righty competitors, WISN, WTMJ, these long-term right-wing talk radio stations. Well, they have tremendous listenership on the AM dial. But unless you're a farmer or a fine listener of 1510 AM, you're most likely not scanning the AM dial. People scan the FM dial. 85% of listeners, especially the millennials, they're over on the FM side. And part of the only reason, Dom, I could ever afford to buy a radio station, I mean, I'm a guy. I'm like one dude. I'm not a corporation. Contrary to Mitt Romney's opinion, corporations aren't people, or at least this person is not a corporation. But the only way I could leverage it up, borrow money against the house, do everything I had to do to buy this AM station is because AM daytimer stations have limitations. They're not as good as FM. FM's better.
As far as technology and signal is concerned.
Yeah, and as far as
programming perspective, we're awesome.
Hey, man, we're going to be on the FM side, so therefore, it is the greatest radio ever. But let me tell you about this little signal that we're going to have, Dom.
All right.
First and foremost,
this wasn't the first one now.
We've been playing 3-level chess for a number of months. I first started seeking to acquire an FM signal about 5 minutes after we moved into the back room from the cellar when we first took over the format way back in February. So my first deal was a guy I like to call Shyster Frank. Frank screwed me pretty bad, or at least that's my perception of it. Frank approached me And I would point out, we were literally 5 months in business. February of 2017.
Yeah, right.
We didn't know what we were doing. We weren't the first ones that the shyster Frank approached. I would suggest probably TMJ got called and WISN got called, and what Frank had to sell, along with some magic beans, was this concept that he had an FM frequency, a superior FM frequency called the non-directional, meaning you can crank it up as loud and directionally in all directions. That's exactly what you want.
So that the actual signal goes out in a circle.
Biggest circle you could possibly generate. And you know what helps generate that circle? When you can stick it up in the air as high as possible. Let's say 800 feet or more.
For an FM.
For an FM signal. Line of sight. AM goes along the ground. So you get in the downtown city, that's why you hear static. Drive under a bridge, sometimes you hear static. FM signal doesn't work like that. As long as there is not an interfering, stronger FM signal, an FM signal will lock in until you cross the horizon. So anyways, Frank said, I got an 800-foot FM at 103.3. I'll sell it. I'll lease it to you, Crudy. And I said, heck yes, I'll do it. And it was no small amount of money to lease that signal. And apparently it was too small an amount because Frank sold me down the river. Frank went to Scripps Corporation, our competitors at WTMJ. And
after you had struck an agreement.
Not only did we have an agreement, Don, we had a construction permit from the FCC. My name was on the construction permit, or at least the corporate name of WRD LLC was. And Frank sold us down the river for a big bag of cash. And
from who?
Well, from TMJ, from Scripps. And Frank, in pangs of conscience, on the way out the door, as he was saying, hey, I screwed you. Too bad, so sad. You know, they had more money than you did, young fella.
But thanks anyway.
But he said, hey, you know what? There's this broke little nonprofit in Milwaukee. Why don't you call that guy? I think his name's John Daniels. And I did. And we'll tell you the rest of the story in just a little bit. Come back with us. Celebratory feelings going on here at WRRD 1510 AM. We have announced our application. We have moved forward. As of today, you can go to the FCC's website. You can see 1017 FM will be the new location for the resistance. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates.
How tough can he be with a name like Francis?
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is the People's Sheriff. I need you to keep listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee. Can I count on you?
Did you ever eat a perfect peach? Flavorful and succulent, juice dripping from your mouth. That's what you can expect every time you shop at Pete's Fruit Market. A perfect peach or any other fresh produce to satisfy your taste buds. Try Pete's brand new, clean, bottled, full-service grocery store on Martin Luther King and North Avenue. Daily specials, organic fruits and vegetables, and always a perfect peach. Go to Pete's Fruit Market in Bronzeville. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
We've got Jesse Pica-Holtz in studio with Solidarity Realty. Jesse, why on earth are you advertising in the Milwaukee area when you help buy and sell homes in Dane County?
Simple. Since Walker's policies have taken hold 7 years ago, most new job growth in Wisconsin has happened here in Dane County because of its progressive policies. And plenty of folks who commute to or from Madison already know that many rentals here are more expensive than a fixed mortgage.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Dane County, call Solidarity Realty or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
515thenam.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm State Representative Jocasta Zamaripa.
And I'm Joel Clayfish.
Listen to us on the Joel and Jocasta Show, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
She's a Latina woman from the inner city of Milwaukee, and I'm a white guy from the suburbs. Diversity in the white guy. You are not going to believe what you hear on this show. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen. News Talk, 1510 a.m., WRRD.
Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Good afternoon. It is 3:32 for 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly with some headlines. Milwaukee County is on pace to have a record number of opioid overdoses this year. Wisconsin's new DNR lawyer is from a conservative public interest group that supports rolling back environmental laws. Auto thefts in Greenfield this year are more than double the average for the city. And the DNR has approved a permit on wetlands for a new multi-million-dollar golf course along the shore of Lake Michigan. And the Bucks beat the Trailblazers last night, 103-91. Oh, and also, we are requiring an FM translator. We are going to be a 24-hour station in soon time. We are in the middle of discussing that right now. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 30s. Saturday, sunshine, highs around 50. It's currently 50 degrees in Milwaukee and 49 in Waukesha for 1510 a.m. My name is Brian Kelly.
Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. As promised, a big announcement today. WRRD 1510 AM has placed a long-form application. We've been waiting for this day on the calendar since July. And today we moved our little chess piece, and we will be soon an FM radio station at 101.7 FM, in no small part to a partnership we've created with Alive Milwaukee. Now, Alive Milwaukee had the right to build a low-power FM at 101.7 FM. And you might think, why don't you just go find your own FM frequency? Because there's none left. Not in the Milwaukee market, seemingly. There's 103.3 that the Shyster Frank took from me and sold on a lease to Scripps. There is 102.5, which there's a big 102.5 in Madison. Unfortunately, that, not unfortunate for them, but that big churchy station in Madison, it's got a powerful booming signal, gets back and would definitely interfere with any efforts at 102.5.
You'd be limited in how far
very
west you
limited.
could go.
I'd be lucky to cover half of the Milwaukee Metro. But at 101.7 FM, the last remaining superior FM frequency in the Milwaukee market, we at WRD 1510 AM, I think we'll have one of the best FM signals in the Milwaukee marketplace. First and foremost, Scripps. You know, the big battle, July 26th of this year, I was the only eligible station at what's called an FCC auction. I got to put my chess piece on the table. And I was right in the midst of fighting with WTMJ Scripps and Frank, because Frank screwed me and I didn't like being screwed much. And I fought it through the FCC, and, I got like a 1 week window. From July 26th forward, I had 1 week to resolve. And I knew 102.5, as secondary as it might be to my desires,
better than nothing,
was an open frequency. That was the only place I knew for sure. And then there was 103.3. There was Frank's damn thing, which I had some claim to. I was on the FCC construction permit. Frank can't just put a different corporation on my construction permit,
right.
Although that's exactly what he endeavored to do.
But that's a fight now. That's
Well, it was only a fight until July 26th. The window opened, and I removed myself from the field of battle at 103.3. And in fact, I requested that the FCC also remove Frank from the field of battle at 103.3. And I fought the good fight, but I only had a week to make my decision. And ultimately, I decided I could either battle 103.3 or I could call a gentleman, John Daniels, at 101.7, and I could see if John was willing to make a deal with me. Literally called John the day the FM window closed.
The day of.
And I said, well, what the heck? I'm going to call John. I'm going to see if he's a reasonable human being. Very much so. Very much so. Now, we certainly didn't have any deal in hand after one short, brief phone conversation. And I had to make a decision, man. The FCC, the time's literally ticking. We're on the air, and I've got to make a decision by 5 o'clock Eastern time.
You can only apply to the FCC based on given windows and once ever.
Once ever. For this opportunity, this is, it's like Eminem, man. You get one shot.
Don't be throwing up spaghetti, man.
And anyways, I had to split the difference between two signals. Here's what you can do. You can hold down one place, and there's what's called first adjacent. So if I wanted 102.5, or at least I wanted to hold the vacancy there, I could be at 102.3, or at least tell the FCC that was my intent, or I could be at 102.7.
And if I'm at 102, those are subsequent frequencies that you can actually
those are called, and I know this is very technical stuff. I didn't know it either, but that's called first adjacent. And if you're first adjacent, you tell them I'm putting up a powerful signal, then they'll hold the vacancy next door for you as well. So my decision was, do I try to make the deal with the John guy that I barely know, or do I go fight the good fight and try to take on Frank the Shyster? As much as I would have liked to have defeated Frank on a fair field of battle, it wasn't a fair field of battle, and I certainly could not match the monetary resources of the Scripps Corporation.
Yet.
Let me check. No, not out of my left or right pocket. So I had to do it through human relationships. And I got to tell you, John Daniels is a great guy, and I am ecstatic to have the support of the Alive Milwaukee program, and I'm ecstatic that we can provide opportunities to Milwaukee youths, because I don't think TMJ is worried about African-American kids in this community. Listen to their programming. And here's the other little tidbit. With this FM signal, as we talked about, high in the air is good. Higher is better. Scripps got a tall tower, Dom. But I made a deal on a taller tower.
Ooh.
So while Scripps, and I would point out to this date, December 1st, 2017, check your calendars. Scripps, which has had the right to build this FM, they told the papers, they told everyone, it had nothing to do with WRD 1510 AM.
Oh, no.
They were trying to stifle the competition. They really wanted this FM.
For sports.
For Packer games. Or maybe it was Bucks games. But the Packers, hell, they're still playing. And the Bucks, they've started their season. And TMJ, despite having a fully compliant FCC permit to build an FM, they haven't done so. Contrary to any sort of talking that we heard from the right, like, oh, they got nothing. They don't care about you. You're insignificant to them. Then why didn't they build? And for those that say, oh, of course, this was just a deal, da-da-da-da-da, and I think to myself, then why didn't TMJ make the deal the first time they were offered the deal? Why did they wait until I had a construction permit and then try to steal it from me? But, let's not look back in the rearview mirror except to say Frank's FM, Scripps FM, the construction permit they have, 800 feet.
That sounds pretty high.
Dom, our construction permit?
Yeah.
Over 1,000.
Oh, yes.
We will have a 20% higher, and I don't know how the math works precisely.
It's better.
But a stronger, better signal to offer than TMJ has. Or can have if they ever do exercise their construction permit that they bought away from me. And I would point out our other righty competitor, WISN, they're shut out, man, in 102.5. Go get it, boys.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, you can have that secondary frequency, but 101.7, that's the only place you're going to need to know. Time frame wise, we're hoping in the month of February to have this sited on a tower. We've already selected the tower. We're well on the way to a Long-term lease. I mean, 10 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. That's 25 years.
Damn.
Because I plan on being around a long time, kicking TMJ and WISN's ass as Milwaukee's only FM talk station, Don.
Well done, Michael.
And
Entrepreneur of the Year, man.
I don't know if I'm going to win that or not. But if they only knew what I had been scheming, and Dom, this 3-level chess, I've been scheming this for months and months. This has been stressful. This has been complicated. I've always had John Daniels made this decision. John Daniels was also offered a big bag of cash by somebody, and John Daniels instead opted to do business with the human beings that work right here. And it's not just me. It's our morning host, Earl Ingram. It's Brian. It's you. It's the cumulative personnel that we have at this building. John chose, and a board of directors had to come along with John's intent.
Yeah, right. He didn't make that decision
this decision.
His own, yeah.
No. So sometimes humans beat money. And today, Dom, kiss my ass, Scripps, I win. We win. You win, I win, Fancy Brand wins, and most importantly, the audience wins.
Yes.
Because you're going to hear clear signal FM resistance talk each and every day. You're going to set your presets. You're never going to have to worry about what time the sun sets. You're never going to have to worry about competing stations, because we're going to have the strongest, clearest FM signal permissible under law, and it's going to be at least 20% better than WTMJ's and WISN. You're shut out. Too bad, so sad. So anyways, that's our big news, Dom.
101.7. Hell, they should just put it in their cars right now.
No, it's a little early for that. I'll remind you.
Get used to it.
The day it's on the tower and we're putting this fine radio program out there, first and foremost, we'll go back to our traditional 3 to 6.
Oh, thank
And we
God.
will never switch again, because that's the time frame we really want to be. But we'll let you know. We'll let you know when it's time, because we will have the one and only, maybe Scripps will come follow our lead at that point, but we'll be the one and only FM talker in the city of Milwaukee. And this signal, if we get it high enough, it might be strong enough to get out well beyond the western suburbs. I'm talking to you, Waukesha, Pewaukee, maybe Oconomowoc. Hell, for all I know, you might hear it halfway to Watertown. Where's the horizon from here? I don't know, man. You know, most Republicans wouldn't understand that concept. They think the earth is flat.
Ah, nice.
Tell you what, we'll come back. We got a few callers holding. We'll get to you next. 844-967-2789. Festivus Eve on Brady Street. That's not a grievance. I am quite happy about the outcome of this circumstance, but we'll meet with a fine young lady. She's Steph Salvia. She is the executive director of the Brady Street bid. I'm sorry, Steph. I kind of stepped all over you. We'll come back. We'll get it right.
Oh, yeah, I know all about the FCC.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear?
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster. And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, that failed facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Going through divorce is a very emotional time in someone's life, and when I went through my first divorce, I really needed someone to help me through the legal aspects of what my rights were. That's why I got in contact with Lawton & Cates.
The attorneys at Lawton & Cates. It's who you turn to for legal advice. 282-6200 or lawtoncates.com.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton & Cates.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test, because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Pre-Diabetes Awareness Partners.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Tune in to The Resistance, Monday through Friday beginning at 7 a.m. on News Talk 1510 a.m. From 7 to 9, it's The Earl Ingram Show. From 9 to 11, take a deep dive into Milwaukee news and Wisconsin politics on 414 Wisconsin with Brian Kelly and Daryl Ingram. The Tom Hartman program is next from 11 to 2. Then from 2 to 5, it's The Devil's Advocates with Dom and Crute. Join The Resistance, News Talk 1510 a.m. WRRD.
Women want them. Men want to be them. Tom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can give us a call and air any grievances you may have. Although it's a pretty happy day around here today. 844-967-2789.
Dom, I'm looking at this beautiful long-form FCC application that has been placed with the FCC in this corporation's name. We are the proud recipients of an FM. Well, first of all, you had to have a frequency. Our frequency will be 101.7 FM, and we're going to have one of the biggest, tallest tower. I'm not saying it's a phallic comparison here, Dom. No. I'm just saying my tower is 20% taller than Scripps. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying? Well,
you know, it's not a mono comparison
it's
per se.
Personal. I mean, it's
I'm
business.
20% larger than Jeff Wagner and the boys. That's all I'm saying.
Let's get some callers.
Yes,
844-967-2789. You have been patient. We'll start with Chris in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Hey, Chris, welcome back. What do you got for us today?
Well, I wanted to say congratulations.
Well, thank you so much,
This is
Chris.
awesome news.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you keep the same call letters, or do you change the call letters too?
What the FM permits us to do is basically rebroadcast the AM. This is to fill in the gap in our broadcast day, which is, you know, basically half the day in the winter. So this is a identical it's not like I just got a brand new FM station and I can throw anything I want on there. What you will hear is the identical formatted play out as WRD 1510 AM. We will continue to play that out, especially for our rural listeners. I mean, hell, you know, Chris, you can hear that signal most of the way back to Madison. On a good day, all the way back to Madison. So we'll continue with the AM signal, but I will stop explaining to people when the FCC tells me it's sunset, I got to turn it off.
Well, when we talk about the 101.7, you know, we say right now 1510 AM WRRD. Are there Is there separate call letters? Do you know how that works?
Yes, there will be separate something. It'll be like WCPVD. I will not use those call letters with frequency, only when legally required to do so. We'll be WRRD. We'll be Resistance Radio. We will effectively be 101.7 FM because, quite frankly, the FM signal is nearly equitable to the size of the AM signal. It will stay on 24 hours. And oh yeah, it's a better signal. It plays in stereo. It's just a crisper, cleaner sound, Chris. All things good.
So will I be able to pick that up in Sun Prairie?
That would be a reach. I mean, I think the Horizon's going to get in my way, Chris. I don't know that I can push it all the way to Sun Prairie. I don't have enough power to push it beyond the Horizon. But I'll be up 1,000 feet. I don't know. Someone's going to have to do the math. I mean, I got big circles. I'm looking at the charts that show how big the signal could be. It'll be a big signal, Chris. I don't know that I can drive an FM signal all the way back to Madison. Think of some of the big FMs in the Madison market. 101.5 comes to mind. That one doesn't make it all the way into Milwaukee. My station will have much less power, although it will have a similar high location on a tower, but I can't drive it back to Madison. If I interfered with 101.5, I would have issues. That is what's called first adjacent. I cannot interfere with their signal pattern.
Oh, okay. Well, I still think it's great news. I mean, I'm a little disappointed for Sun Prairie, but I think it's great news. It's really going to be good, I think, for getting the conversation going, particularly in the Milwaukee market, because I think we really need people talking there.
Well, Chris, you know I live in Madison, and it would have been so much easier just to find a nice little station in the Madison area to buy and operate and, stay close to home. But, Chris, you and I both know Madison's had the benefit of progressive talk for the last 14 years. And Madison, of course, was always a progressive, always a liberal city, but I think that lefty talk helped get out the vote in the Madison market. Well, Chris, Milwaukee needs us worse. Unfortunately for my friends in Madison, Milwaukee, this was never first and foremost about the money, or it's a horrible investment. B, it's always been about the politics, Chris. It's always been about changing the tone of the state and changing the politics of the state. I want to live in a blue state with a reasonable governor again, Chris. That's my goal in life, and that starts in Milwaukee.
Well, thank you for doing it, Mike. I really appreciate it because I think it's very important, and I'm really glad that this worked out for you.
Well, Chris, I can tell you, and I appreciate the kind words, but I am a full-time schemer, and I ain't done scheming yet. I will be scheming the rest of my life. If you folks, all you fine people, help make our advertiser successful, if you make this station a success, if you tell people, especially when we get the FM up, listen to it, 101.7 FM, the only station for Resistance Talk. Well, Dom, I'll keep growing, man. I'll do what I got to do. I'll collateralize one of your kidneys. We'll buy a station. But I'm not close to done scheming yet, Chris. So hope to come your way someday, more likely, but someday soon.
Back to Madison. It would be a great homecoming. 844-967-2789. Let's get another one. Oldie but a goodie. Lonnie from Albuquerque. Been a while, my friend. Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got
Lonnie,
for us?
He just called you old.
Oh, I know. I feel that way sometimes. But congratulations. And
yes, thank you, sir.
Are you guys gonna be on the satellite FM or on the phone FM?
Nope. Oh, we're gonna continue live streaming. I assume that's how you're listening to us now. Lonnie, as ego gratifying as it is to say we're a nationally syndicated radio product, as a station owner in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's in my own best interest to try and change the politics and do business in my own backyard. And we do have some stations that still play us out. Charlottesville, Virginia, Northern California. I think they're playing us out overnight in Minneapolis currently. But I don't know if we're going to make it back to Albuquerque, Lonnie. There's no, I hate to say it this way, there's no upside for the station I own for this product, the Devil's Advocates, to be syndicated. In fact, it's to our detriment. we're much better off catering to local politics and to local sponsors, Lonnie. That's just a fact of business.
Well, you know what? I'm glad, because you know what? You guys need to make Wisconsiners know that it's about them, the people, not the government controlling the people. And I'm glad you guys are doing that for them.
Lonnie, we're doing the best we can, man. And after we win back the state of Wisconsin in 2018, after we turn it blue again, my friend, well, then I'll pack up the car and Dom and I will go back on the road. We'll spend most of 2019 in Iowa. We'll be interviewing the future president of the United States. Might be Bernie, might be Elizabeth Warren, might be someone else, but I guarantee it's going to be a Democrat.
It won't be Trump.
It will not be Trump, Lonnie, but we'll keep the Trump bashing going. Hell, we can't wait till we have the Trump impeachment Devil's Advocates radio show. What do you think? Are we thinking like February? I hope we get the FM in time for the impeachment trial.
Maybe you'll coordinate around the FM starting up. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Fortuitous timing.
I make this pledge to all the listeners of WRD 1510 AM and, of course, the Devil's Advocates. We will give you 24/7, wall-to-wall Trump impeachment coverage. AM, FM, hell, we'll put it up on smoke signals, but we will give you comprehensive coverage when the impeachment trial starts. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. It's Brady Street Festivus out here this weekend. And it's Friday Festivus, but it's kind of Festivus Eve. We're going to talk about the big event. Steph Salvia, the executive director of the Brady Street Business Improvement District, joins us live in studio next. More Devil's Advocates, and you keep your hands to yourself. I don't want any sexual harassment complaints.
Yes, Steph. Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What do current WRRD sponsors, guys like Lenny Mattioli, Crazy TV Lenny, now Crazy E-Bike Lenny, have to say about advertising with Wisconsin's only Resistance Radio? WRRD 1510 AM, would you call us a great radio advertising source or the greatest radio advertising source ever, sir?
Okay, first of all, my emotional answer is the greatest.
Yes.
Now a realistic businessman answer, okay? I would say equal to or better than any talk show style radio station that I've ever advertised on. The return on invested advertising dollar is as good on your station as I've ever seen. Right now, it's the best.
Be like Lenny. Advertise with News Talk 1510 AM. Call me, 414-635-0872, or email me, crute@newstalk1510am.com.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM.
Flynn sings Wild Wall Street. I'm Michael Toscano. Fired White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has a plea deal, and he's talking. Flynn pleading guilty today to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russians, and he's begun telling what he knows to Russia's special counsel Robert Mueller. Jim Sciutto reports he's named somebody especially close to President Trump is telling him to contact the Russian ambassador.
The very senior member of the Trump transition team who directed Michael Flynn to reach out to the Russian ambassador, in this case regarding reading a UN Security Council resolution on Israel that the very senior member of the Trump transition team was, in fact, the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
Senate Republicans have been wheeling and dealing changes in their tax cut bill, enough, they say, to get the votes to pass it this evening. Democrats are fighting that on the Senate floor, however, including embattled Al Franken.
The problem is that the wealth gap has grown to the highest levels in my lifetime. This bill would make that wealth gap even bigger.
Leading Democrats quiet about Franken's future after groping accusations. A roller coaster Friday on Wall Street. Stocks went into free fall after the Flynn guilty plea, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping well over 300 points, but there was a slow but steady recovery by the closing bell.
Wall Street has wrapped up the trading day on the downside, but with notable gains for two of the major indices. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down 41 points. Still, the blue chip index had its best week of 2017. The S&P 500 dipped 5 points, but for the week was up 1.5%. The Nasdaq tumbled 26 points and is in negative territory for the week. I'm Ann Cates.
California regulators have rejected a plan to let self-driving car manufacturers avoid liability for crashes if the vehicle hasn't been maintained according to manufacturer specifications. California's Department of Motor Vehicles nixing that suggestion, which came from General Motors. I'm Michael Toscano.
Have pain you can't ignore? Then try first-in-class relief from Salonpas. Salonpas pain relief patches have everything you need in one clinically proven solution. They're the strongest label pain reliever available without a prescription, safely relieving pain for up to 12 hours. And Salonpas is the first and only FDA-approved OTC topical pain reliever. For first-in-class relief, get Salonpas pain relief patches in the green box with a blue wave.
This is Charles Osgood. Since auto owners insurance began in 1916, the world has entered the information age of computers, email, and smartphones. While technology continues to advance, we believe people help people best. That's why you'll only find auto owners insurance from your local independent agent, a real person who protects your life, family, and business. Auto owners insurance, 100 years of putting people first.
In Richland, call the Goplin Insurance Agency at 608-647-2114.
Over 700 people have volunteered to search parts of Onslow County, North Carolina for 3-year-old Mariah Woods, missing since last Sunday. The FBI's Stanley Meter.
At this time, the main focus of this investigation is finding what happened to Mariah. And at this point, priority number one is to find her. And once we find her, determine what were the circumstances surrounding her disappearance.
In Texas, the funeral today of a state trooper shot and killed Thanksgiving Day.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott and troopers from across the state and officers from other agencies nationwide were on hand for Trooper Damon Allen's funeral. One of his high school classmates spoke at the service.
Damon always had a smile on his face and a sweet, loving, carefree attitude.
Trooper Allen stopped DeBrett Black Thanksgiving afternoon on I-45 for a traffic violation. On his way back to his patrol car, he was allegedly shot by Black with a rifle. I'm Clayton Neville.
I'm Michael Toscano.
So I always have big plans to start my shopping early. Then life gets in the way. But thanks to thecompanystore.com, I always get the gifts right. They make great homemade gifts that are perfect for everyone in my family. And if you know my family, that's a gift in itself.
TheCompanyStore.com has been perfecting the comforts of home for over 100 years. From cozy pajamas and mittens to home decor and more. Visit TheCompanyStore.com and enter the code ELF by December 21st for guaranteed Christmas delivery plus free shipping.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at
Good afternoon. It's 4:05 for 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Milwaukee County is on pace to have a record number of opioid overdoses this year. Also, Wisconsin's new DNR lawyer from a conservative public interest group that supports rolling back environmental laws. Auto thefts in Greenfield this year are more than double the average for the city. The DNR has approved a permit on wetlands for a new multi-million-dollar golf course along the shore of Lake Michigan, and the Bucks beat the Trailblazers last night, 103-91. This station is going to acquire an FM station. We will soon be acquiring an FM signal and be broadcasting 24/7. Hooray for us! Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine, highs around 50. And Sunday, mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 40s. Currently 51 degrees in Milwaukee, 48 in Waukesha. For 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, my name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we're sliding into the happy 15, 18 minutes here on Brady Street. If you had not taken note of the fact that the sun sets earlier and we've turned months, I think the FCC makes us turn this damn station off at like 4:18 p.m.
That's not even right. Good thing we got a FM coming soon.
Good thing we've got 101.7 FM coming very soon because, you know, by next spring, by like 60, 80, 90 days from now, Dom, we're going to be the talk of the town on the FM dial.
Oh, yeah.
And as I mentioned, I will have the tallest tower of all the radio talkers in this town.
Who do you keep saying that?
And the lovely young lady who has joined us live in studio is Steph Salvia. She is the executive director of the Brady Street Bid. Welcome back, Steph. How you been?
Great. I love it.
Outstanding. Got a big party on the street coming this weekend, don't we?
Big old party and the perfect weather for a big old party. So,
what is the weather forecast? Do the
50
weather
and sunny.
for us.
I mean, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
For December, that's like damn ideal weather here in the state of Wisconsin.
Yep.
But the party starts early. What is going on Brady Street
Are
tomorrow?
we partying now? It's the happy hour, right?
I think we should be.
I think we should start now and then just go through the weekend.
And just keep going till Sunday?
Yeah, see what happens. You know.
I love you.
Wait, can you say that?
You crazy kids.
Oh, come on. All right, so
the sexual tension you could cut with a knife in this room right now.
Yeah, Steph, you have to excuse me and Crudy for a moment. All right, Steph, Festivus celebrating here tomorrow on Brady Street. What time does that start? But there's also events going on early. I think there's going to be day drinking going on. Please edify me.
There is. So Brady Street's big event, Festivus, begins with a 1 mile run, 5,280 feet of strength. So,
so one end of Brady to the other and back.
Yeah, basically, yes, the east side to the west side, chug a beer and run back to the east side.
Oh, chug a beer?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that will take probably about 15 minutes.
And when does that start?
That's at 7 p.m.
So at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So there's going to be no cars on the street? How does that work?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So anybody coming down and partying on Brady Street tomorrow has to be aware of that, right?
Off-street parking.
There's off-street parking. People might freak out a little bit. The meters are already hooded, so that kind of makes people freak out a little bit, too.
How about use the mass transit? Take an Uber. Get a cab.
You can bike. So the funniest part is that tomorrow morning is also the big Santa Rampage biking event that the Bike Federation puts on.
Santa Rampage sounds like a war on Christmas. Tell me all about it.
This is literally, you guys, it's the funniest event. It raises money, I think, for the Bike Fed. Don't quote me, but I've done it a couple of times. It's everybody dresses up as Santas, and there's meeting spots throughout Milwaukee, and you'll see hundreds of Santas at a time just biking all over the city. So you'll see huge groups of Santas just cruising down Brady Street. And that starts at like 7 a.m.
Ho, ho, ho. What do you want for Christmas, little girl?
7 a.m.
Yep, people are starting that at 7 a.m.
And will the biking Santas, will they also be biking down Brady Street tomorrow?
They do, yep.
No,
and
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also a day drinking event? Will Santa be caboozling.
Will it be
Oh.
bad Santa?
It will be bad Santa for sure.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that
If your kids are still true believers, don't bring them down on Brady tomorrow.
I know one of my friends did make a comment online that like her daughter's going to be really confused because that's how many Santas are going to be out and about tomorrow on bicycles.
Oh, they're all Santa's helpers.
Right.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM, WRRD. Got Steph Salvia in here. Full disclosure, that's my wife. I am your husband. She's the Brady Street Business Improvement Director, talking about the events going on here on Brady Street Festivus tomorrow. Okay, so the Festivus run starts at 7 p.m. Can people just show up and run? Is there registration? Is there payment? How does that work?
We will take day of race registrations. We already have
Do you
close
accept-
to 400 people signed up.
400?
Do you accept unusual trades? That was in Seinfeld. Jerry Kramer.
Are you going to make a donation to the Human Fund?
I may have something unusual to trade in lieu of entry fees.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, so 400 people already signed up for the Festivus 1 miler.
Right.
And that'll last like 15, 20
Like
minutes.
15 minutes in time to catch the Badger game, which will also be on.
Nice.
Big Ten championship game. We're going to kick Ohio State's ass tomorrow night.
Yeah, so that'll be happening too, and we'll all be already in red because we'll be driving our
Santa
bikes
red.
around. Yeah, so it's going to be hysterical. It's a fun day.
Now, in the participating establishments, there's events going on. Feats of strength, airing of grievances. How does that work? What's that all entail?
So there's 12 bars that participate in the airing of grievances, and basically you can compete in feats of strength to win the highly coveted Festivus pole.
There are 12 Festivus poles to be given away tomorrow at these participating bars.
Yep.
And give me one of the feats of strength. I mean, I feel quite strong today.
Yeah, usually what it is because our Beechwood, our Bud Light reps come around, and they take buckets and they fill them with full beers, and you have to hold it out in front of you for as long as possible without cheating, because you'll see people.
Can I
they'll
drink
cheat.
the beers to lighten my load?
No. But that's usually.
And what do you mean they'll cheat? How do you cheat in the beer holding contest?
Trust me, they'll like lean back and try to like prop their arm on themselves.
So it's like a front raise you have to maintain out in front of you, and whoever holds it the longest wins that competition.
Yeah.
Now, does that automatically, whoever wins that, they get a pole? Is that what it
Correct.
comes out?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the beer? Do they get to drink the beer?
And you get beer, and we also have airing of the grievances at those 12 locations too. And the best grievance / worst, I guess, gets a beer tab, a $25 bar tab.
Oh, you're handing me Dom's one first round tab?
Oh. Yeah. Pretty much, yes.
Come on. You know, didn't I win? I think I won.
You did win 1 year.
1 year.
What was your feat of strength, Salvia?
It wasn't a feat of strength. It was the airing of grievances.
Oh, you had one of the better grievances?
I think it was my cat chases her tail.
Like a dog.
It reminds me of my dog. My dog is dead.
Yeah, that was my grievance.
You got a prize?
You got a prize for that.
It was a grievance. I got a bar tab for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Festivus on Brady Street.
I can top that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
we
just
get some
today.
really good ones. We get some they can't be read out loud, but we get some really good ones.
Outstanding. Steffi, so feats of strength.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 miler, lots of drunken Santas.
Yes.
Around town tomorrow. What time does this little sheding wrap up?
Bar time. Bar time. Yeah, because the feats of strength begin around 9 o'clock.
9 p.m.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Now, do all the bars do the feats of strength at one time, or is there like a traveling?
There's 4 teams of traveling, competitions. So you can either follow a team around all night, or you can just hop from bar to bar. And some people try to win the pole, at multiple bars.
So if I didn't win on one, I could use the other arm in another bar if they hadn't done it yet.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see people like walking around with Festivus poles too, which is kind of funny.
Now, would it be a supportive pole? Could we put it in the window? Could we have Dom dance for some extra scratch on the weekends?
Yes, they're known for their high rate to, what is it? How does that go? They're known for their high... Strong, yeah.
Ratio for chubby guys.
Yeah.
Pole dancing.
Pretty much, yeah. But they're tinsel free, so you won't, nothing will get snagged.
Well, it can't be a Festivus tree unless it's tinsel free.
And
exactly.
Steph, would it be fair to say that this is part of the greater war on Christmas.
It is the best holiday out there. Holiday.
Holiday, that's it. All right, Steph Salvia, bid director, Brady Street, thank you for coming down.
We'd continue this conversation, but I'm a little concerned the FCC is going to turn our signal off. Steffi, have a wonderful Festivus.
Thank you.
Any
Festivus
grievances you want to air quickly before we
wrap
her up?
Oh, no. We'll leave that to all the competitors.
I got to tell you, this scarf, this Festivus 414 Wisconsin scarf, this is the nicest scarf anyone's ever given me.
See, all the 1 milers get a scarf. So
now, are these for sale? People have already been asking me for these scarves for sale.
Yes.
So
how much is
where
this fine swag item?
BradyStreet.org. I'm not sure how much the scarf.
BradyStreet.org.
Yeah, and we'll put a link on there to
Brady Street spelled out.
Yes.
All right.
And that's BRADY
STREET.org.
Man, we're like a finely oiled machine.
It's a Festivus miracle.
Steffi Salvia, always great to see you. Keep running the bid like you do. The executive director, you're outstanding at what you do. And probably the nicest human being that's ever been in this little studio. So thanks for coming down. Come party on Brady Street. Festivus.
Festivus, yes.
And more grievances for the rest of us. Coming back, 844-967-2789. Until the FM goes up, you better get used to live streaming newstalk1510am.com.
I'm supposed to find a charity and throw some of the company's money at it. They all seem the same to me, so what's the difference?
$20,000?
Made out to the Human Fund.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org. Or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
What if there was a talk show that discussed both politics and music? Could it work? Find out Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on News Talk 1510 a.m. Join me, Stu Daniels, for Stu Man PM, Politics and Music. This week with my very special guest, WRRD's own Earl Ingram. That's this Sunday from 4 to 6. Stu Man PM, Politics and Music on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Whoa! And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM WRRD. Streaming live on YouTube, streaming live on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and we are on the phones toll free, 844-967-2789.
You know, Kevin tweeted us out from Watertown and said, hey, I'm listening to your AM signal right now. Will I be able to hear the FM signal, 101.7 FM, as soon as the FCC grants us our construction permit? And Kevin, survey says, yeah, I think so. Clear signal all the way to Watertown, not halfway to Watertown.
Damn.
All the way to Watertown. That's the Clear Signal 37 dBu band. I'll spare you the science, but you should be able to hear us 24/7.
Doobies?
I don't know what DBU means.
Doobies. 844-967-2789. Let's get to some callers. We'll start.
Buddy, I'm the same guy. I told you, I graduated college with like 118. I needed 118 and a half credits. They gave me a pass on the Phi Ed credit, half credit I lacked for, apparently because I had audited Charlie Gross's basketball class.
Privileged progressives. 844-967-2789. Annie from Ridgewood, you are up. Happy Friday. Happy Festivus. What do you got for us today?
Well, I don't know. When am I going to listen to Earl? When am I going to listen to Stephanie? I don't know. I can't take it. It's too much winning.
There's so much winning, Annie.
I got a question for Krut, but first, I just wanted to say I think Trump's going to be like his old buddies, the old organized crime lords, that he's setting up a senility defense.
A senility defense. Maybe that's
sure,
what all the
like they do.
Yeah,
all the recent headlines of dementia.
Sure.
Scarborough
and then he'll
morning
lose his
joke.
office, and then he'll say, "Oh, I never wanted to be president anyway."
Hey, I'm just fine if he resigns from office. Any day you want to resign, Trump. In fact, today would be a good day.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Back in 2000, there was some sportscaster that was really all heated up. He was speaking up about the Las Vegas odd makers, and I'd say the exit polls too. They were always right on, and they were always real accurate when it came to the president election. And when W got elected president, he was really upset about it being that there was something fishy, not kosher, because it was for the first time just wildly off. And I always wondered, was that Keith Olbermann?
Well, I never heard Keith talking much in point spreads. I mean, he certainly probably talked about some of the polling on MSNBC. I almost want to say his...
Yeah, he was a sportscaster then in 2000. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, for ESPN. I'm not sure if that was Keith Olbermann. I'm not clear. And, I thought you were going to go either Rush Limbaugh on Monday Night Football making racist comments, or, Dennis Miller losing his job on Monday Night Football for not being funny. He's a conservative, but
Don't
I'm
forget
not.
Jimmy the Greek, man.
Yeah, Jimmy the Greek was the guy that used to talk about the point spreads all the time. He would, in fact, tell people on television to bet on the team that he was betting against, because he would try to move the point spreads, influence the bookies by throwing out false predictions on Sundays.
Well, I just thought you knew something about Keith Olbermann. I thought you might know that because I've just always, for 17 years, have wondered about that.
Well, I would say you don't have to look any farther than Florida, Jeb Bush, and the U.S. Supreme Court. If the fix was in, it was the U.S. Supreme Court halting the recount in Florida. And to my memory, which is sometimes faulty, not as bad as Dom's, but sometimes faulty, but to my memory, numerically, Al Gore had more votes than W in Florida. Had they ever been counted, Al Gore should have been the president.
844-967-2789. We got time for another call here. Let's take Gene from Eau Claire. Hey, Gene, welcome. Happy Friday. What do you got for
Gene?
us?
Well, happy Friday to you guys, too. Congratulations. This is wonderful news.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gene. You know, I was in Eau Claire at a Panera on Sunday of last.
What?
I had a sandwich in the soup. I was not overly impressed with the Panera fare, but a lovely city, Eau Claire, Gene.
It is a lovely city. Come back again. We'd love to have you. I wish we could get your broadcast here, but hey, it's great streaming too. Do we get to give a grievance today?
Absolutely. It's Festivus Friday, Gene.
Yeah, I hate to wreck Festivus with this one, but man, I got to tell you, I've been watching them criminals with the Senate. Man, I've been calling more senators. And it's so frustrating because they keep changing the bill. They're not doing it in public, in clandestine, the way these people are working. Corruption, and it's like, what the hey is going on here? And it impacts everybody, but I got some good news about it because people who were die-hard Republicans finally got the message that they're getting ripped off. And one of them was a friend of mine who went right to Duffy's office and said, hey, you're never going to get a vote for a Republican from me ever again or any financing. So, I think it's starting to hit home with what these yahoos are doing. The only...
Oh, Gene, got to cut you short. Have a great weekend. More Devil's Advocates. We'll be right back.
Good evening, everyone. Due to FCC regulations and that we are a daytime AM radio station, this now concludes our broadcast day. But you don't have to leave us. We do stream online 24/7 at newstalk1510am.com. That's newstalk1510am.com. Or check us out on the TuneIn app at WRRD 1510am. For those of you already streaming, we now continue regular programming, and please welcome your friends from the radio station. Say hi, everyone. News Talk 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Did you ever eat a perfect peach? Flavorful and succulent, juice dripping from your mouth. That's what you can expect every time you shop at Pete's Fruit Market. A perfect peach or any other fresh produce to satisfy your taste buds. Try Pete's brand new, clean, bottled, full-service grocery store on Martin Luther King and North Avenue. Daily specials, organic fruits and vegetables, and always a perfect peach. Go to Pete's Fruit Market in Bronzeville. Tell them the Devil's Advocates sent you.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Stephanie Miller Show is on twice daily, 6 to 9 p.m. and midnight to 3 a.m. You can stream The Stephanie Miller Show and all of our fine programming on newstalk1510am.com.
We are the People for People, People Corporation. We are a registered 501c3, totally legit. What do? We take your uncapped, dark money, tax-deductible donations, private or corporate, always anonymous, and we turn it into free speech. You know, educate Wisconsin through advertising, which may or may not be in coordination with the candidate. Isn't that illegal? It should be, but it's not under Wisconsin law, thanks Governor Scott Walker. Politicians in Wisconsin are beholden to the millionaire and billionaire sugar daddy and sugar mamas that finance their campaigns. Time to make them beholden to we the people for People Corporation. Give your tax-deductible donation to the real patriots, the People for People Corporation, P for ppc.org, P, the number 4, ppc.org.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score.
You're kidding, right?
No.
How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that.
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right. I thought maybe it was time to take control of my finances, you know? Start using a budget, get out of debt, set some goals.
A budget? Debt? Set some goals? Listen, I knew that we'd have our creative differences, but I was hoping they'd involve a little more scandal.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
The Devil's Advocates, where there's always time for Scott Walker bashing. Hashtag Walker bashing.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's a Festivus Friday on Brady Street. We're having a good time. But, Dom, there's another sexual allegation.
It wasn't me, man.
This one, a Democratic lawmaker from the state of Wisconsin. In fact, one of Milwaukee's finest. This story at the Madison.com. Jesse Apoyan, our friend, is the fine journalist. Two women state that say State Rep Josh Zepnick, a Democrat from Milwaukee, kissed them without their consent at political events in 2011 and 2015. One worked for the Democratic Party of Wisconsin at the time. The other was a legislative staffer. Zepnick said that he has never been confronted with any such allegation until contacted by a reporter on Friday morning. Both women requested anonymity, citing concerns with their current employment. Their accounts were corroborated by friends and co-workers who learned of the alleged incidents at the time they occurred. Neither woman pursued complaints against Zepnick. Both said they hoped to move on from the incident and put it behind them. Both said they had experienced their share of inappropriate behavior as women working in politics, but these particular incidents stayed with them in the years that followed. They both decided to come forward now because of the recent cultural shift that has encouraged women to make these stories public and because of a desire to hold people accountable for their behavior. Dom?
What's the gentleman's name?
Zepnick. Josh Zepnick from Milwaukee, a Democrat. Do we want to get into the circumstances behind these incidents, Dom?
Why not?
The most recent incident occurred during the State Democratic Party 2015 convention held at the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee. Dom, we were there.
We were there.
It is common on the first night of the political conventions for candidates to host hospitality suites.
We were there.
Where attendees mingle while alcohol flows freely. Yes, it does. It is well known in political circles that open bars in the suites are magnets for drinking and late night partying. Absolutely. Some of our favorite times.
Yes, of course. That's where you make the contacts, Crudy.
It's around midnight when these things start to go off the rails. DPW staff were alerted through their headsets that Zepnick and then State Rep Mandela Barnes were having a heated argument in U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin's hospitality suite. A Barnes aide and a DPW staff member stepped in with the goal of preventing the disagreement from escalating into a public disturbance. Their approach was to separate the two lawmakers and keep an eye on them until they calmed down. The DPW staffer was annoyed. Zepnick was clearly drunk, and she spent the next hour listening to him and trying to talk him down. It was late, she remembers, and she was thinking about how early she had to be up the next morning. He told her how much he liked her ex-boyfriend, she said, and he asked her who she was currently dating. She was uncomfortable, but was used to boorish behavior in politics. She moved away from security guards with the goal of getting him to exit. A former co-worker said she saw the woman and Zepnick talking, and she looked nervous or stressed. Unsure whether to stay or leave, the co-worker left after briefly speaking with the DPW staffer. Here's a quote, Tom. We're in the hotel lobby, and he's just kind of like drunk. People just recall the same story over and over. He keeps telling me he's not going to drive drunk, the woman said. But we're standing in the lobby, and he gives me a hug, and then he kisses me, and I just turn my head and say, what the F? And he's so gross, and I'm upset. Everyone was upset, or at least annoyed that night, said a friend of the woman's, who had been working with others to try and diffuse the altercation. But when the DPW staffer rejoined her co-workers after dealing with Zepnick, he said she was crying. He remembers the way she described it, like Zepnick had licked her face as a result of her turning her head to dodge the kiss. He remembers being shocked and then angry. His anger resurfaced, still fresh, as he described that night. Two other then co-workers, both of whom still work in Wisconsin politics, confirmed that she was visibly upset when she returned to the room where they were gathered and that she told Zepnick had gotten weird and kissed her. I was in tears thinking, what the F? I hate my job. I hate that I have to deal with these effing people who does that? You can't kiss me, she said. Several sources interviewed for the story said before these incidents, they had heard rumors of Zepnick acting in a way that made women feel uncomfortable, but had not heard or experienced anything specific until these incidents. One of them is the former legislative staffer who said Zepnick's reputation preceded him before she had her own run-in in the 2000 election party for Democratic Senate recall candidate. She worked for several years in Wisconsin politics before moving to the East Coast, where she now lives. Here's another quote, Tom. We were in a huge room with a ton of supporters and people were drinking. I remember I was on the left side of the room and he walked over to say hello, but this time he also grabbed my shoulders and he kissed me. Up until that point, his interactions with me had been entirely professional. She said she doesn't remember whether his lips landed on her mouth or cheek. She does remember feeling disgust and trying to get away from him as soon as possible. She recalls he was pretty drunk, so drunk that she's not sure he would remember his behavior. She said she thinks other people witnessed it, but isn't sure who specifically would have seen it. And from then on, she did everything she could to avoid him in the Capitol. One of her former co-workers said he remembers that she refused to be around Zepnick after the party, adding that everyone in the office in which they worked was aware of what had happened. He also said people at the party may have seen it happen, but wasn't certain of who had. Now, Dom, there is another story out there today. This one, not a great one for Josh Zepnick. But Leah Vukmir, wannabe U.S. Senator Leah Vukmir, apparently wrote a letter of recommendation, a letter of reference on behalf of Bill Kramer, the former Republican majority leader in the Assembly, about a month after he was convicted of sexual assault of one of Ron Johnson's staffers, Tom.
Patrick Marley in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir wrote a character reference letter for fellow state lawmaker Creeper. That's my interjection there. Just after he was convicted of sexual assault in 2014, court records show. A month after, a Waukesha County judge convicted then Rep. Bill Kramer of 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault.
Oh, God.
Vukmir sent the judge a letter calling Kramer a friend who had changed his ways by getting sober in recent months.
Oh, crap.
Her short letter focused on his decision to quit drinking in 2014 and did not mention that he had shoved a woman against a car, forcibly kissed her, put his hands up her shirt, and grabbed her groin. The letter also did not mention a police officer had said Kramer mocked the breasts of his victim when he was questioned about the incident. Vukmir, a state senator from Brookfield, is running in the GOP primary to challenge Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin next year. Also running is Delafield businessman Kevin Nicholson.
And Nicholson's primary contributor, Uline, is also the primary funder of Roy Moore's senatorial campaign in Alabama.
I wonder if he's going to give the money back.
No.
Hell no. No money back. The Senate race is getting underway. National debate about sexual harassment and assault after political, entertainment, and media figures have faced scrutiny. In some cases have lost their jobs because of their treatment of women. Being sober has had a profound impact on Bill for the better, Vukmir wrote in her November 2014 letter to the court.
Here's one thing I find about people, that have found Jesus, giving up the alcohol.
Yeah.
They're only sober until they're drunk again. I'm not saying no one's ever moved beyond their past demons, Tom, but this hardly seems reassuring to me, but please read on.
Well, I mean, but isn't that kind of the way it is? Oh, I was so drunk, I don't remember. I would never have done that if I were sober. They kind of try to hide behind that as a shield or some semblance of an excuse. But I will continue from Leah Vukmir's character reference. Being sober has had a profound impact on Bill for the better. I also think it is important to recognize that Bill became sober under his own volition.
No, he didn't. He got charged criminally.
Bill became sober to improve his life, not because he was sent to a court-mandated program. I believe this change has improved Bill's life considerably.
I'm sorry to continue to interrupt. No, he wasn't sent to alcohol rehab. He was sent to jail for sexually assaulting one of Ron Johnson's staffers and then perpetrating again out in D.C.
Yeah, but see, this is how you do it.
A couple additional times.
This is how you do it, though. Once the cat's out of the bag, once you're caught, well, before you go, you make your first appearance, and then you go and try to get sober. Then, before you're convicted, well, you did it of your own volition. It wasn't part of any probation. It wasn't part of any court order. So someone like Leah Vukmir can then step up on this creeper and support him. Well, he did it all on his own.
As a mother and a nurse, no one takes sexual assault more seriously than Leah Vukmir. One of her campaign spokespeople said in a statement.
Really? Don't we have sound of her supporting? Actually, she did an ad with a bunch of women for Donald Trump.
I'm Senator Leah Vukmir. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
You know why she was encouraged to do that ad on behalf of Donald Trump? Wisconsin women love Trump. Because Donald Trump, of course, had just been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. His self-confession on the Access Hollywood tape had just dropped, and Leah Vukmir had no problem giving the sexual assaulter-in-chief a little cover fire by doing I love Trump. I'm voting for Trump.
Aren't you ashamed?
No one takes sexual assault more seriously than Leah Vukmir, who voted for Donald Trump and made that ad after the Hollywood Access tape came out.
Leah's brief character letter on behalf of a colleague who was convicted of an extremely serious crime does not diminish nor excuse his criminal behavior in any way. Then why does she continue to give cover fire to those that would sexually assault others, Tom?
Like Donald Trump?
Yes, exactly like Donald Trump or Bill Kramer in this case.
I know we got some callers we'll get to in just a moment. I know we had a big show today, lots of stuff happening, but I want to since we're on this, Governor Walker,
the gubernator,
had some conversations today about this as well.
I thought he was mostly being evasive, shucking and jiving. Conversations implies he was trying to impart information. I think he was trying to run.
Governor Scott Walker, again, Patrick Marley from the Journal-Sentinel. Walker said Friday he didn't know enough about sexual harassment accusations against President Donald Trump to say whether they were true.
What? In the last year, you haven't heard any of the statements made on the Access Hollywood tape? What's he, turn off the TV at home? How do you avoid knowing about the accusations against Donald Trump?
I haven't seen most of the things that have been reported about the accusations against Trump. Walker told reporters.
Is he an ostrich?
Asked why he would comment on more but not Trump. Let me go back a minute here. Walker said he made comments 3 weeks after saying Republican candidate Roy Moore should step aside in the U.S. Senate race in Alabama because allegations he assaulted or pursued teen girls when he was in his 30s. Asked why he would comment on Moore but not Trump, Walker said this: "That's what's before us right now. It was a question that was explicitly asked about a campaign that is happening right now. That presidential campaign's over. I don't have a role in something that's already been determined by the voters here and across the nation last year."
Okay, you got the Wankinator. Here's how Paul Ryan addressed a very similar topic today. Do we have this song?
I think we do. Do you have the
I tell you what, let's take a break right now, Fancy Brian, and we'll come back. Paul Ryan was asked the very same question, the analogy. Roy Moore. How can you ask Roy Moore to step down and be completely kosher with the confessed behavior of the President of the United States? I mean, I asked Ron Johnson that question. Scott Walker, evasive on the answer of that question. Leah Buchmer, hell, she'd probably write another letter of recommendation. What the hell's wrong with these Republicans? I mean, I'm not saying there's not Democratic perpetrators. We just heard the story of Josh Zepnick forcing himself upon women with unwanted kisses, Dom.
Walker said about the Access Hollywood, "I haven't looked at that. I'm focused on being governor of the state of Wisconsin and focused on those things. From our standpoint, we treat this very seriously. I think it's unfortunate for a lot of folks trying to invoke politics. The bottom line is Republicans, Democrats, Independents, anyone in this state should take this issue very seriously. We take it very seriously in state government. But we'll still support Trump so long as we think he'll sign our crappy legislation."
And don't watch the news. Whatever you do, Wankinator, don't watch the news because you might be exposed to the truth. And how would you be able to obstruct through shiny objectism? Oh, it's a different race and I can't be held accountable to morals or backbone. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. It's Friday. There's some time for grievances. Yours included. 844-967-2789.
But especially the women made me feel good.
I'm Senator Leah Vukmir. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping.
Aren't you ashamed?
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
I needed an attorney because I was injured at work. I wanted to find a reputable attorney. The results that I got with Lawton and Cates were very good. I'm very happy with the way I was treated and the end result that I got.
Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton and Cates. 282-6200. 282-6200.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Grass-fed, locally raised.
Tom Perez, chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
Hey, great to be with you. And since I spoke last, I went to my first game at Camp Randall. So
all right.
I was very excited.
Well, I feel quite confident that was a victory as my team's undefeated, Tom.
Hey, I agree. Our team, you should say. My daughter is there at Madison.
Oh, that's right.
It was a great day.
Happy
great
Badgers.
Day.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The big and tall of political talk. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates on News Talk 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 844-967-2789. Last segment of the day. If you want to air some grievances, now is your time. We have some sound of Paul Ryan being Paul Ryan, but we might have to save that if we get to it at the end.
Stuttering, bumbling Paul Ryan. You can explain his opposition to Roy Moore, but he can't stand up and clearly tell you.
Well, he's focused on the Congress.
Why it's not exactly the same thing as what Donald Trump did. And, you know, we talked about Flynn has already pled guilty today. If you are just finding out about that, man, is that a bombshell?
You should have tuned in earlier.
And the GOP, the tax cut bill for the very wealthiest, they're still hoping to get it to the floor for a vote today.
Jeff from Madison, you are up. Thank you for calling. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey guys. Long time no chat.
Yeah, man.
I'm really kind of concerned that anybody on the right who comes out and has allegations of sexual misconduct or pedophilia, they'll get a pass. But anybody with a D behind their name, heaven forbid that they get caught grabbing somebody's butt, you know, they'll raise the red flag immediately and ask for their resignation. But anybody on the right, they'll fight like hell to get him elected to Senate or even president.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be sexual harassment allegations that cost Donald Trump his presidency, Jeff, but you make an excellent point. Here is how Trump would rationalize the difference. He and Roy Moore keep denying.
Well,
see how that's different if you just deny?
Exactly.
Jeff, have a great weekend, buddy. We're going to keep moving down the phones. 844-967-2789. Reverend Dean's back. How you been, Reverend Dean? Welcome to the Devil's Advocates. You got a grievance for us?
Oh, absolutely not. I have a rejoicing. Oh, my gosh. So, first of all, I just want to make sure this is not all about you, Coot, right? It's not all about you. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is going to benefit from all of this. Can you imagine? the first talk FM station, it's going to change our state. And I am so proud. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so glad that you did this endeavor. So, but I have two questions.
Yes, sir.
One, when you become part of the 1%, are you going to remember us?
Well, I'll remember you, Dean, but I'm going to try hard to forget Dominic.
And two, please tell me your station is not going to be powerful enough to go across the border, right? Like the Flatlanders aren't going to get your signal, right?
Yes, actually, Flatlanders will get clear signal from WRRD 1510 AM, more specifically from 101.7. Hell, that signal damn near gets to Michigan across the lake, my friend.
All right. That's beautiful.
All you got to do is find a little 250-watt FM, but put it 1,000 feet in the air. Dean, I don't know if you heard me mention this, but my tower, much larger than Scripps Tower.
No, 20% more. Wisconsin Paul, you get the last word today. You got 30 seconds. What do you got?
Okay, grievance. First of all, congratulations. That's
Thanks,
great
Paul.
news. And, yeah, you bet. And my grievance is Trump's a liar and racist, and the GOP lets him get away with it. And good things happen to people who wait. Congratulations, you two, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Well, I can't wait for the Trump impeachment, the Trump indictments. Hell, I can't wait till Mike Flynn starts singing like a canary. Want to thank all our fine guests today. They included former U.S. Attorney Jim Santelli, John Daniels, our new partner, director of Alive Milwaukee. Can't wait. Hopefully it's a wonderful partnership between that fine organization and WRRD 1510 AM. And, of course, the best guest we've had in this studio in a long time, Steph Salvia, Executive Director, Brady Street Business Improvement District. Come on down. Celebrate Festivus for the rest of us on Brady Street. The big festivities started like 7 a.m. with drunken Santas on Brady Street.
The run starts at 7, goes, and the party goes until bar time on Brady Street. That's how we do it down here.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Go Badgers! Soon to be playing for the national championship. Hell, I hope the Packers win as well. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. Go get a tree. And then party on Brady Street.
If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
Just one more thing.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster. And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on and he gets